Well, good evening. Happy Labor Day. Dom, you're here. Hi there, buddy. How are you doing? Alicia, hello. Ah, Alicia, Dominic is my grandson. Dom, so good to kind of see you. At least you're here. Anyway, I am in my office den type of thing, and you could see into my living room, and there's outside, of course. But how are you? Alicia, how are you doing? How are you doing? Thank you for welcoming my grandson, even though you didn't know it was him. Uh, so we'll see who ends up on here for a little bit, but yeah, Dom, I hope that you ended up staying. So yeah, ask questions, whatever you want. Join in the chat. Uh, it's a little bit early yet, so we'll get people coming in. I know it's a holiday weekend, Labor Day. Angle down just a little bit more there. There we go. And so, Alicia, what have you been up to all week? And I know that Labor Day is really a U.S. thing, for here, today anyway. But my weekend was good. What did I do? I've just been catching up on work at home, I guess. Today, I did a little bit of work, a little reading. I canned yesterday. So, yeah, you have Labor Day, but isn't it May 1st, I think? Connie, hello. Our Tiny Acres, hugs to you. Um, you've been sewing custom things. Nice. Very, very good. Sounds like you're quite talented with that. Um, Dominic, if you're still here, bud, I go for about an hour. So we talk about a bunch of different things, but I usually have a subject that I cover. So I hope you're still here. Hey, Kiri, hello. How are you doing? Oh, this is your long weekend too. Okay. Um, well, see, I keep learning things here because I know we have so many different holidays, but I didn't know that you also, um, adopted Labor Day for Mondays also in the first Monday in September. You're okay, Kiri. Okay. You went to a flea market yesterday? Fun. Gosh, it's been years since I've been to a flea market. Um, I mean, I've been to garage sales and different things like that, but a true bona fide flea market. That's pretty fun to go to, actually. Um, Kiri, did you get some more rain? And was it a good, nourishing rain? Because I've seen some rather destructive rains going on, so I just want to make sure that yours is okay. So, yeah. Katie went to a yard sale, and her and Jacob went to the country to pick apples. Oh, how fun! Picking apples? Yes, that is so great. I mean, I've got 3 apple trees, but by the time they're doing you know, filling out and doing the thing that they do to get to be a good size apple, they get so attacked by different things, and it's hard for me to get like a really nice, good harvest on them. I don't spray them or do anything like that, but you know, my time is so taken up with so many other things. It's like to think about taking care of the apple trees. It's it's just me now, so I'm not like needing to put up like lots of applesauce and things, for a family. So anyway, yep, very fun to go to. We went with high school friend and her husband. Nice. Oh, Kiri, I'm so sorry, but you are healed up now. Oh, it was good. Yes, I hope no more injuries in 2022. I hope not. I wonder if Dominic left. So I need to text him here. So Hold on a second. Um, you got several inches last week. Wow, you're doing better than we are. We are very dry. The South got 8 inches flooding. Oh, okay. Wow. Um, our, okay. Sorry. I just had to get my. Holy cow, 8 inches. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's been several weeks for us since we've had any rain, and the grass is all getting brown. It's pretty dry out there right now. Really, really dry. I think, I don't know if we have much. We've got like 3 hot days coming up. Let me see here. Like 90s or early 90s. Like low 90s, that type of thing. Yeah, by Thursday 90, and then possibly a little bit of rain for Friday. That's the only time in the next 10 days. So hopefully we'll get something. Hey Dave, hello. Alicia got a tetanus shot because your finger got in the middle of a dog. Oh no. Oh, well now you're protected. Okay. Oh, you're talking to Alicia. I was saying, I thought you said Alicia got one. Okay. Speaking of rain, we've been in a drought. Yay, Dave. Oh, I'm so glad you're getting some rain. Oh, good for you. Connie, that is unusual for the Northwest to be so dry there, too. Okay. Well, there's Dominic again. Everybody, Dominic is my grandson. Dominic, there's everybody here. Usually we have about twice as many people, but it's a holiday Monday, so I'll take who I can get here, right? So yeah, we've been warm and very, very dry. I've been picking peas, and I've blanched and frozen them. So I've got bags of peas. I still have more out in the garden, but those are the little ones. I grew regular ones that were going to get like 2 to 3 feet tall, the plants, and then I've had all these Tom Thumb plants in there that only get about 6 or 8 inches high, and those are about done. So they put out a pretty good harvest for the size plants they are, but those are about done. But the others are flowering and producing, so I should get somewhat of a harvest out of those. And but anyway, so I've been harvesting those and lettuce, and had my good first cutting of beans on today, Saturday. I picked beans and canned them yesterday. So there we go. There's one of my jars. You can see ball here. So I got a canner full of those and a few beans left over that I can add to my next batch. So I picked Saturday, probably tomorrow. I think I should be able to go out and pick because it's going to be warm. Thanks, Alicia. And Alicia, that's so sweet. Oh, that's very sweet of you to say. Oh, Connie, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. So yeah, I'll have a good medium. Or right now, because I picked all the big ones. I have a pretty good medium size group that was on the plants, so they should be, like I said, they should be big tomorrow, maybe Wednesday at the latest. And then there were a bunch of little baby beans on the plants. Didn't have any new blossoms, which is fine with me. Yeah, so I think between the 3 major pickings, I should do pretty good. Probably 25 25, close to 30 pints, which is more than enough for me because I still have a lot left from last year and the year before. so, so it's just fresh stuff that I could, get to it the next year. But so, Kira, your pastor's wife is an RN. I called her to ask if there's anything you needed to do beyond the obvious. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're doing better, Kiri. That's so good. Dominic, that's so great. He's going to be in animation. He loves those things. So, Dominic has a birthday in 2 days. You can tell him how old you're going to be, Dominic? Mm-hmm. So, Kiri, you said your garden has been a bust. Oh. Huh. Rutabaga. Is that something you can grow through the winter there? But you guys still get freezing temperatures, so probably not. You could maybe do a fall crop, right? Rutabagas, I would think. Kiri, when do you start getting below freezing temps? Is that not until January for where you are? I mean, you're a higher elevation, so I'm sure that's earlier than some of the other areas, but that'd be kind of interesting to find out there. So, all right. I am going to give you guys a garden tip first. I know I like to save those to the end, but garden tip first here. And I know we've talked about this before, but it's just a good reminder at this time of year that as you are clearing out a bed, pulling out the dead plants and everything else, if you're not going to be doing a fall or winter crop or something, if you're not in that zone or in that, type of mode of gardening or whatever, think about putting in some annual clover or rye or something as a ground cover, as a green manure that you can turn under and help to keep, just add some stuff to your beds as well as to help to keep the weeds down. And it'll be really good for your beds. So think about putting that in. And you can get the seeds from most seed providers. You could also get them from like a local feed and seed store or something. Check with that too. But you occasionally get a freeze in November or December. Okay. Where for freeze lasts more than a few hours. Oh wow. Okay. Field pea and oat mix. Nice. See, Dave, you're right on top of it. I know that. You had a cold warning a few times this week. Wow. Sunday morning here, which was yesterday morning. Already feels like how many days ago. So yesterday morning, we got down to 46. So, and then of course it's going to be 90 on Thursday. So they're just starting to kind of bounce around a little bit. You can tell it's that pre-fall type of weather change that's going on. So yeah. You closed your greenhouse. Oh, good for you. Very good. That's what's so nice about having something like that. You can open it up in the summer, let the fresh air and everything in there. And if you get that little blast of cold or whatever it is, then you can close it up and protect everything. So that's so good. You guys are so loving. Thank you. So he just got my gifts to him today. They came. So it's hard because he lives in a different state, don't you, Dominic? So we don't get to talk real often. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of trivia today on Labor Day. You warm days and cool nights and mornings less great. Okay. Wow, 60s. That is low. That is. Hey, keep it simple. How are you doing? Good evening. Happy Labor Day to everybody. Happy Labor Day. So, all right, the first Monday in September is celebrated nationally as Labor Day. And Alicia let me know that's also in Canada too. So, so Dominic, I have people kind of from all over the place. Alicia is in Nova Scotia, Canada. Uh, Built on the Rock Homestead is in Texas. Oak Knob Farm is in New Hampshire. Who else do we have? Um, our Tiny Acres is in, oh my goodness, I mean, is it Oregon? Connie, are you in Oregon? Yep. And Dominic's actually in Pennsylvania. So, yep, Oregon. Okay, very good. So, keep it simple. You're in the Philippines. Hello, good morning to you. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate that. So, so for many, Labor Day weekend is like the last chance to travel before work and school kick into high gear. Um, so a recent study said that more than 53% of people have Labor Day travel plans. And of that 53%, about 14% plan to fly and 35% will drive. So it's a lot of people out and about. We've got 300 million people, and half of them are traveling around. So, it's like 150, 160 million people are on the road or flying or something. So that's a lot of activity, a lot of things going on. So, although it's primarily celebrated in other countries, the holiday, also called Workers' Day or International Workers' Day, it has American roots to it. So, how did we get the holiday and everything, and how did it come about? It grew out of the late 19th century organized labor movement, and it quickly became a national holiday as the labor movement assumed a prominent role in American society. Well, here's how it all started. Um, the facts as we know them, and supplied by the Labor Department, the Library of Congress, and some other sources. So the idea first became public in 1882. So in September 1882, the unions of New York City decided to have a parade to celebrate their members being in unions and to show support for all unions. At least 20,000 people were there, and the workers had to give up a day's pay to attend. Wow. Would you give up a day's pay now to go to a parade? But there was also a lot of beer involved in the event, so I guess maybe that was was kind of worth it. So the New York parade inspired other nations. So other regions started having parades, and by 1887, which is only 5 years later, Oregon, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, and Colorado made Labor Day a state holiday. But then on May 4th, 1886, so this is, it started in 1882, so this is 4 years later, 1886, a bomb exploded at a Union rally in Chicago's Haymarket Square, which led to violence that killed 7 police officers and 4 others. The incident also led to May 1st being celebrated in most nations as Workers' Day. The U.S. government chose Labor Day instead to avoid a celebration on May 1st, and New York's unions had already picked the first Monday in September for their holiday. So there are other countries that have Labor Day. I mean, like I said, they can call them, what were the other names? Sorry. Workers' Day or International Workers' Day. But a lot of them choose to do it May 1st. So that's kind of exactly, Alicia, right? Right, Carrie? Uh, so there are two people with similar names that are credited with that first New York City event. One was Matthew McGuire, as Maguire, and he was a machinist. And then so it's Matthew McGuire, and then you have Peter McGuire, that's Mcguire. So very, very close in names. So one is a MAG, the other one's a MCG. So Peter McGuire, probably McGuire. So you have McGuire and McGuire. Peter McGuire is a carpenter, and so both of them have been linked to the 1882 parade. The men were from rival unions. So in 2011, Linda Stinson, a former U.S. Labor or Department of Labor's historian, said she didn't know which man should be credited, partially because people over the years confused them because of their similar sounding names. So don't know for sure. So Alicia, well, okay, it doesn't sound like you guys have parades in Canada for that. I've never known a parade around here, but I think it depends on the area and how probably how big the unions are in whatever area that you're in. So, all right, Grover Cleveland was a president. So Grover Cleveland helped make Labor Day a national holiday. So after violence related to the Pullman Railroad strike, President Cleveland and lawmakers in Washington wanted a federal holiday to celebrate labor, and not a holiday celebrated on May 1st. So Cleveland signed an act in 1894 establishing the federal holiday. Most states had already passed laws establishing a Labor Day holiday by that point. Senator James Henderson Kyle of South Dakota introduced a bill to make Labor Day a federal legal holiday on the first Monday of September. It was approved on June 28, 1894. It's hard for us to really conceive of what labor conditions were like way back in the 1800s, because that was the Industrial Revolution. Everything was starting to, we were through the Revolutionary War, we were through the War of 1812, we were through the Civil War, we'd gone through all of those things, and then the country started to grow. We had this boom, the industrial boom that was going on. But with that, when you've got these huge factories and all these things going on, a lot of factory owners took advantage of the workers, and they didn't want to pay them very much. They had horrible working conditions. I mean, we think it's bad here. Now it's like we've got it so good compared to what they had early on. And it was just like it was filthy. They would work 14 to 18 hours a day without breaks. I mean, it was just like I said, for the lowest pay ever, and it just kept them in such poverty and everything. And so there were a lot of strikes and rebellions and different things that were going on. So there was a lot of clashing in there until the unions were able to form, and the unions ended up being the ones to protect the workers and to be the ones to negotiate between the workers and the owners and everything to try to make things better. So it's gotten a little out of hand now, but we're not going to get into that. But anyway, so you can kind of see what was happening during that time. So no, not for Labor Day. For Canada Day and for Christmas, you have parades. We also have the Nova Scotia International Tattoo. Really? They have a parade for that every year. Oh my goodness. Wow. How fun. Here, you've never heard of Labor Day parades, but you've seen lots of parades on other days. Yeah. The three major parades during Fiesta in April. I suppose that's kind of like a turning point between winter, spring, and then summer before the real heat comes. For you have like the celebration that's like, okay, we're going into fiesta time and siesta time. All right. So the holiday itself has really evolved over the years. In the late 19th century, celebrations focused on parades in urban areas. Now the holiday is a celebration that honors organized labor with fewer parades and more activities. It also marks the perceived end of the summer season. Yep. So we have kind of our bookend holidays. Summer starts with Memorial Day, ends with Labor Day, and in between is like summer, 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 summer. Because it kind of guides our our school year. Those are in between those two is summer, and then the other part of their year it's school year. Different things like that. So Labor Day kind of marks the end of summer, even though we're still hot and it's still summery type thing. So, that's cool that they perform. That's pretty cool. I hadn't heard of that, Alicia. That's neat. So Fiesta has tons of events, all fundraisers for different programs, ministry, schools. Well, that's kind of fun. See, it's fun to see what other parts of the country are doing in different cultures and different things like that. It's so great. A big trivia question. Can you wear white after Labor Day? Oh, so I don't know if a number of you, there's a commercial going on around now, right, for Twizzlers licorice. The guy is sitting on the shoreline and he's like contemplating. He's like, I've always wanted to ask this question as he's eating a Twizzler. It's like, can you wear white after Labor Day? Every time I see it come on, I just want to hit mute because it's so irritating. It's like, yeah, that's true, Dave. I hear you. I rarely wear white either. So this old tradition goes back to the late Victorian era, where it was a fashion faux pas to wear any white clothing after the summer officially ended on Labor Day. The tradition isn't really followed anymore. The Emily Post website explains the logic behind the fashion trend. White indicated you were still in vacation mode at your summer cottage. So I suppose, white was the lightest fabric and everything. Of course, it reflects the sun and stuff like that. So it keeps you cooler. Pre-air conditioning days, right? So that's what helped keep things cooler and you were still on vacation. That's funny. You wear white socks all year long. I will wear white socks too. Do I have any white? I used to have a white winter sweater, but I think that's all I have for white. I don't think I have anything else. All right. Labor Day is the unofficial end of hot dog season. Who likes hot dogs? Give me a hands up. Wave your hand in the chat if you like hot dogs. I do, but they have to be really specific things. I will eat brats, but I'm not as fond of those. I don't know. I don't ever have them in my house, and not that I don't like them, but I just don't go out of my way to make them. You definitely like hot dogs. You like brats too, and kielbasa. Okay. And Italian sausage. Anything in tubular form, Dave, right? uh, you get sick if you eat any type of meat out. Oh, yeah, Connie, I know you've got lots of different allergies and stuff. So you had a hot dog for supper. Okay, very good. Um, you know what's really, really good are the cheddar cheese venison brats. Those are really good. Venison sausage with cheddar cheese in them. Oh my goodness, that's really, really good. Kiri likes sausages, but not hot dogs. Okay. So the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council says that between Memorial Day and Labor Day, Americans, so Memorial Day, Labor Day, 3 months, Americans will eat 7 billion hot dogs. 7 billion. Okay, so we have 300 million or a little bit more people in the country. So that means that every single person will eat at least 21 hot dogs, about, right? Something like that throughout the summer. And those of us who don't eat hot dogs means that somebody else has 42 hot dogs. Some other people will eat a lot more. I mean, in 90 days, how many hot dogs can you eat, right? Oh my gosh. Yes, that's a lot of hot dogs. And Kiri, I think that's why I kind of stopped eating them. But because they're just filled with stuff that's not really so good. Oh, okay. Trivia number 9. How many people are union members today? You buy only KM's kosher dogs, very pure. Okay. See, that would be good. The venison cheddar brats are ones that it's like my brother's, the deer meat that he'd gotten, and then he gets it processed, so it's just straight venison, with cheddar in there. And I like the cheddar in there because it helps to balances the flavor and then adds a little bit more, I think, oil to it and stuff like that. So I like that. It's really good. But okay, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there were 14.8 million union members in the workforce in 2017. 14.8. There were 17.7 million in 1983. So in 30 years, it dropped by 3 million people, which tells me that there are 3 million fewer people working more blue collar jobs. So that's interesting, isn't there? Yeah, Kiri, there's a lot of that filler in a lot of the hot dogs. So your mom, you think, was in the California State Employees Union. Yeah. And see, there are a lot of jobs that say you have to be part of this. You have no choice. So it is something to think about when you're looking for a job or changing jobs or whatever it is. If there's, if you have to be part of a union or not, really check into that union. Is it something that you feel that you can be part of? Can you, because there's always dues, there's always requirements, there are things that you have to do to comply with them. Otherwise, you can be out on your ear or worse or something. But so yeah, it's something to think about. So what is the biggest union today? It's the NEA, which is the National Education Association, and that has about 3 million people who are members, including inactive and lifetime members. Hey, Sunny Preps, how are you? When you did direct care, you had to be union. Okay. Yeah, so it's not just blue collar, I guess you could say, and it's not just factories and workers. It's truck drivers, it's teachers, it's like you said, healthcare. There's all kinds of different areas of the workforce that require union membership and stuff. So, um, do your due diligence when you're checking into all that. Most definitely. So, Sunny Preps, my grandson was on a little earlier. I don't, I haven't seen him on. So Dominic, I don't know if you're still here, but Sunny, you're still in Pennsylvania, right? As far as I know. So yes, it's so good to see you. Better late than never. Absolutely. so so what have I'm going to take a little break here with this trivia and then go into some others. But in between time, I want to find out what you're harvesting, what you're preserving, all this kind of stuff. So again, uh, Dave saw my Instagram post and he's like, "Fire up that canner!" And it's like, I did. Got my beans all canned up. Um, your best friend does very well in the union HVAC trade, gets 60 to 80 an hour and full benefits. So that's another thing that the union, like I said, they were really helping out the workers, and because originally their conditions and their pay were so terrible, but like Dave just said, it um, helps to provide the benefits that a worker will need, can definitely regulate their pay, different things like that. So it does help very much. Oh, Sunny, thank you. I don't know if he's still on or not, but thanks. I appreciate that. So Connie, you're doing tomatoes, cucumbers, and dry beans. Oh, nice. That is so great. Yeah, HVAC is definitely a trade to get into. Most certainly. Um, from what I know, though, Dave, and correct me if I'm wrong, though, it's something that it wears on your body a lot, because it's a lot of labor, intense work. But I mean, it's worth it for if you can do it for 20 years or something, and then switch over to something else or whatever. Oh, you've moved to Almost Heaven, West Virginia. Oh, that's nice. That I knew you had moved, but I wasn't sure if it was still in Pennsylvania or not. I did not know you were a West Virginia native. That's so cool. Are you anywhere close to Wild Wonderful Off Grid by any chance? um, really depends on what union, what area you live in. Okay, you've been harvesting a lot of grass, both around. Oh, that's so good with all the rain you got. Things should be growing, right? What's bad is when unions give dues to political stuff. Yes, I totally agree, Carrie, and that's where some of the other things have gone into, and yeah, installing HVAC is definitely very hard. Oh, blown shoulders, no. Oh, he's in a testing role, so okay, very, very good. Yeah, because you guys are lifting those units, and oh my goodness, you're still getting strawberries too. Yay. Oh goodness sakes, that's so great. My major bed is all June bearing, and I had done some ever bearing strawberries in my green stock last year, but they didn't make it through the winter. And so my green stock has just been sitting there dead as a doornail all summer. But I would love to have strawberries all through the summer. So I may consider, I don't know. I have to think about that though, because my plants are so lush and prolific right now, in my bed. But to pull out all of my June bearings and then replant it with all everbearing, that might be kind of a nice thing to do. I have to think about that one. But so it'd be Yeah, it's not a big state, so it couldn't be too far. I'm not sure where they are either. So here's our everbearing. Yes, very good. Right, Kiri? Exactly. Yeah, that's true, Dave. That's true. So if you want to put up a lot of something in there, so that's why I was trying to do my everbearings in the green stock, and they did great when I planted them at the beginning of last summer, and then they just took off, and all summer long I was getting berries, and so they were really good. But it's just too cold here to keep them going, even in storage. They were just killed off, and so I couldn't revive them this summer or this spring. They just would not. They wouldn't make it. So I don't know. I would have to have two like completely, you know, do the raised beds. Have another bed that would be just strawberries. Have one everbearing, one June, and don't know that I have that room to take up for that. So that's what I have to think about. So anyway, you need to add some everbearing. Well, you had a tough year with your strawberries, Dave. It was like, um, yes, Connie, I can easily be 30 below 0 Fahrenheit. Um, we can even dip down another 5 or 10 degrees from that too. So, um, even without wind chills. So yeah, that's not unusual at all. So, um, and I think we're going to be in for a cold winter this year. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's yeah, we can be very, very cold. And so I had them in my shed, so they were out of the elements out there, but it was still just as cold in the shed as it was outside. So, but I'd only ordered one set of plants. It was like 25 plants for, I don't know, $20 or something. So, and but it was so fun to see them there and to see them continuing to ripe, and then go out and pick, 5 or 6 of them or something, and have them, as like Dave said, as a snack. But it is hard if you just have a few plants that are everbearing to have them produce enough to be able to really do a major harvest on something. Um, but your everbearing you started getting in March have been freezing a lot, getting too many. Oh, okay. You planted all the babies in the soil from your runners, so your patch is growing. Let's hope so. You may have to, even though it may be ugly, you may have to put in a big chicken wire tent or something over it to keep everything out. Um, so, and I think you said it was the deer that really liked him, right? So, all right. Did you know? Oops, that's not what I wanted there. Did you know that it would cost $18.3 million to make a replica Darth Vader suit? There's no doubt that Darth Vader's getup is pretty snazzy in Star Wars, but according to Time, it's probably out of your budget. That's because it would cost $18.3 million to make a real life replica that features a voice modifier, a breathing apparatus, prosthetic limbs, and an augmented reality filter. So, just so you know, if you really want to go all out for Halloween or something, you want a real thing, it's going to cost you. better start figuring that into your budget. I can see you liking that one, Dave. Absolutely. Um, Deer ate the plants and chipmunks ate the fruit. Oh my goodness. Um, so you have 12 by 3 beds of them. Wow. That is a lot of plants. That is a huge amount of plants. Nice. Yes, Sunny. I had thought about that actually too, about leaving the, taking apart the green stalk and just putting them on the ground next to my other beds. But I ended up putting them in my shed instead. So I'm not sure why I decided that at the end, but yeah, my other strawberries in my raised bed, they do great and they last all winter, whether I have straw covering them or not, because I get typically enough snow to cover them all, but nothing has killed them back. In fact, they've taken over so much of the area, and I have a lot of cleanup to do in my garden because I neglected it so much this summer. But hey, Christy, yay! Glad to have you in here for a minute. You had a few more runners. You potted up. You're thinking about starting a new patch under the blue. Oh, very good. My two little blueberry plants, one is totally dead, and I think the other one is mostly dead. I sound like the Princess Bride movie. It's like, are you really dead or mostly dead? So they just, I planted it, and I don't know what happened. If I just didn't harden them off long enough, or they dried out too fast, or what. But just mostly dead. Yes. So, okay. Did you know that shark attacks threaten the internet? Your goji berry is mostly dead. Oh, I know those grow well in California. I don't know, if that maybe your climate is not right for it or something. You kids love The Princess Bride. I know. I have not watched it for a long time. It's one of those you want to pull out once in a while. Same with Ever After, um, Pirates of the Caribbean. Just some of those kind of classic type movies, and Star Wars, of course, and things you want to pull out once in a while. Hey, Mindy, hello. Glad that you're here. Yep. As you wish. Yes, if shark attacks give you the chills, you're not alone. And the people over at Google can sympathize thanks to the fact that they deal with shark attacks that threaten the internet. And this isn't a new problem. Back in 1987, the New York Times reported that this was an issue with phone lines at the time due to the fact that sharks have shown an inexplicable taste for the new fiber optic cables that are being strung along the ocean floors linking the United States, Europe, and Japan. There's something about that they like. So, you probably have better luck than Dave would maybe with that. I don't know. Speaking of fiber optics, and Dave, you may know this. I don't know, but I know who did they thought of that, right? I was thinking about this the other day. Fiber optics were like the huge thing, 80s and 90s, like everything was going fiber optics. Is it still a big thing? Or, I mean, because now we have, cell towers, this and that, and satellite, and everything is like up and going in the air and, all this kind of stuff. So are fiber optics even used anymore? If so, is it just like another natural, normal thing, like a regular a phone line or a power line or something, or was it kind of like a fad that's just like they don't use them anymore? So it'd be interesting to know. So Christy, you're probably right. Absolutely. All undersea cables are fiber optic, and the fastest internet connection you can get to your house is fiber. Oh, okay. So they're still using it. I suppose so undersea. So that's what they needed to use for that. Okay. Hey Jim, welcome. Oh, so good to know. Thank you. It is so good, isn't it? My V8 juice recipe. Oh, I'm so glad you loved it. It's got such great flavor, and you can control the amount of salt that goes in there too. Because you go to the store and get a V8 juice thing, it is so salty, and it's like, but all you really taste is tomato and salt. But when you do it homemade, you get all those flavors in there. It's so good. I'm so glad you made it. Um, it's literally a glass fiber that they flash light down. Amazing. Amazing that it can hold under the pressure of being at the bottom of the ocean, right? So, oh, Sunny, there we go. Sharks are drawn to tiny electrical pulses. Interesting. All righty. So, did you know that Q is the only letter that doesn't appear in any U.S. state name? So, so we have from Alabama to Wyoming and everything in between. So there's A through Z. Arizona, so we have Z there, but Q is the only letter. But now you go to Canada and you have Quebec. We have state names now. Albuquerque is a city name, of course. So but that's not a state name. So, all right, rather than a wire. It's just so great. I love having all of you in here because you all have different areas of knowledge and bringing through different tidbits that just make you all have like pieces of the puzzle and can bring it together and we can see the whole thing. And I love it. Electrical pulses are produced when a nerve is triggered or to move a muscle. Okay. New Brunswick. Okay. Quincy, Massachusetts. There you go. So we have city names, absolutely, but no state name. So, all right. Did you know that there is a toilet museum? So next time you're sitting down and just like, okay, I wonder what it looks like there. Do you get to try out all these things in the museum to show people sit? I have no idea. Okay, there's a toilet museum. The Sulabh International Museum of Toilets in New Delhi, India, features a rare collection of objects detailing the historic evolution of toilets from 2500 BC to right up until today. Wow. 4,500 years of toilets. Learn about the toilet systems of ancient societies, the elaborately decorated toilets of the 18th and 19th century in Europe, and even a toilet from Austria that's shaped like a lion so that you can feel like you're riding like you're riding the wild beast while doing your business. I didn't read that before. I started, oh my goodness. Ooh, I know I'm red. That's, oh my goodness, it's shaped like a lion. Woo. Hey, Patty, hello. You'll have to go back a minute and just go through the last minute that I had here or something. Okay. Oh my goodness. That's too much. Ay. Okay. All right. Did you know that it's against the law to feed pigeons on the streets or sidewalks of San Francisco? You might think that throwing a little bread to the birds is a nice thing to do, but in San Francisco, it could get you in trouble. That's because it's illegal to feed pigeons in the streets or on the sidewalks of the California city. San Francisco's Public Works Department explains that there are dozens of reasons why you shouldn't feed our flying friends, but mainly feeding pigeons harms our neighborhoods and also harms the birds. So, there's a TV museum in Toronto. You can view it online for free. Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. Ah, oh, you guys. Probably, Alicia. And, it's just like with any animal, if you start feeding it, they start flocking in more and they see people and they go, oh, food. They relate that, people, food. And it's like, so they start to flock and, probably, um, you know, you see a flock of them landing in your yard and, bothering your kids when they're out playing or you're out trying to take a walk or get in your car. I mean, I can just see it, you know, growing into a huge problem. But, oh, Sunny, thank you. That was very cute. Hey, Jay, how are you doing? It's okay. We got about 4 minutes left. But yeah, you don't want to get too used to people. It's just like the problem they have with bears and different things like that. And you feed them and all of a sudden you got a problem. You do that with a stray cat that comes around. You feel sorry for them, so you put out some milk and food or something, and all of a sudden you've got a cat. It's you. Oh my goodness. So take up falconry. There you go. But yeah, when you're in the city of San Francisco, I don't think they take too kind with that. But now, if you're out in the country, feed them all you want or whatever they need to do. But you actually been talking with your hands. Oh, Chrissy, that's horrible. Oh, I had one. It wasn't a pigeon, it was a seagull. It was when I was in college the first time. What was I, 20, 19 or 20? I was able to take a trip to Israel, Greece with a college group. And it was such a blessing. But we were taking a ride on it was like a big pontoon boat because there were, I think 25 of us or something. But so we were on like a big pontoon boat on the Sea of Galilee, taking like a tour boat type of ride. And we were sitting there and there were some seagulls that came, they were flying all around. All of a sudden I felt something in my hair. And I had really long hair at that point in time. It was like down to my waist. And it was like, oh, I just got pooped in my hair. A seagull in the Sea of Galilee pooped in my hair. And I was like, oh, it was gross. But yeah, so I totally get it. Totally get it. They put falcon nets on the big skyscrapers to have them raise chicks and feed pigeons to the bait. Wow. Feed the pelicans out of the fisherman's wharf. It can be dangerous. They get aggressive, don't they, Christy? They just get really aggressive. Oh, Sonny, we're not going there. Oh my goodness. You're building 2 more raised beds. Oh, I know. I have lots of birds. There's smaller birds here, wrens and things like that. But and robins and stuff, and they like to sit on certain areas in the garden, or when they were trying to go for my berries and stuff, they would poop all over the leaves. So I go out and every once in a while there's a whitewash on the leaves of my plants, and you just have to kind of let the rain wash it off or just cut that leaf off and toss it. But I know you do want to be careful when you're picking your food out in the garden, just to make sure that, if you're picking peppers or tomatoes or whatever, that just look at them. And if there are some that have, um, bird droppings on and stuff like that, you might want to think about not even not keeping those, because even washing them off, you don't know how long that's been sitting there, and it could seep into the food. And for me, I would think even just rinsing it off or washing it off, it might not get all the transference out of there or whatever. So I'd rather just throw a piece of food instead of trying to think about eating that. So there's a park on top of an underground parking garage in San Francisco. Okay. I don't know, maybe they designated that park or something. So bird feeders in the yards and complain with the hawk swoops. And there you go. Yes, exactly, Jay. Exactly. So, all right, guys, it is top of the hour, and there usually other lives going on and everything. So I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much for coming. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and a good Labor Day. And you guys just take care. Um, God bless, and always have hope. Yes, we need to have hope in this world today, right? So we will see you next week. Good night.